Houston serial entrepreneur and innovator Alex Melgar, the powerhouse behind uSource. Forget the chaos of facility management. This isn't just software, it's a revolution. See his passion for the game-changing platform that connects the industry and saves serious money. uSource is transforming the landscape right here in Houston. I've heard uSource described as the Uber of facilities maintenance. What I love about that is that you can actually see where the people are supposed to be. When they tell you they're supposed to be there at 11 and it's already 1 o'clock, you have no visibility of that. Tell us about how you all are changing that landscape for consumers.
Absolutely. Have you ever had an air conditioning broken on your house?
Yes.
All right. I had the same situation. I had the same situation in my office. An electrician I needed to call. And what's the answer that they provide to you? We're going to be there between 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. And then you get stuck at home for about 4 hours. What if you could see this dispatching live, just like you do when you order food from Uber Eats? And you can see that movement coming to you. It will save you a lot of time, but it also creates accountability. You can rate your vendors, right? The people who do business. And if not, you can go and find another one that actually own the hub, the market hub that we're creating, and connect with thousands and thousands of vendors. And the vendors get the opportunity to connect with thousands and thousands of opportunities. That's B2B and B2C. So this will include, a piece where you can connect with all vendors, not only on the commercial side, B2B, but B2C as well. You're gonna get the opportunity to benchmark prices, receive quotes, submit a formal request for proposal if you wanted to. So this will be suitable for commercial and residential. We're doing this in phases. For phase number 1 is release this market hub for B2B. And eventually we're gonna expand this to B2C. That's just on the roadmap and it's coming up.
According to the Greater Houston Partnership, Houston has surpassed Austin in terms of tech innovation. How does that make you feel as a founder of a tech company?
Very proud. Very proud. Actually, being a Houstonian for the last 22 years, seeing the city evolve, right, to become the main center of technology in the state, it's actually make me feel very proud. And now having the opportunity to launch our software in Houston is even more feeling and proud to me.
What excites you the most about the current tech landscape in Houston?
Well, once the resources. There's more attention to the city and opportunities. Startups like us always need some funding. It needs to people who understand, where technology is going. And this is actually helping.
Facilities maintenance has been one of the last untouched industries when it comes to tech innovation. How does that make you feel to know that you are changing all of that?
At the beginning of the development, we were trying to solve a problem for the service providers. That's exactly what we did, because I was coming to being a business owners as a service provider. And eventually, we realized that these same issues were my customers going through. They needed a system to communicate with their own staff. They need a system to communicate with multiple vendors. There was a system that they needed to actually manage parts and supplies. And so what we did, we eventually opened up to both sides of the equation. A very fragmented industry, so there was no much of investments from the beginning. And I think it had to do with the fact that it's hard to understand the industry. Very complex, many multiple moving parts. Technology was not something that was implemented at the beginning as the .com era.
What are the pain points for people that are managing properties and facilities out there? And how is uSource solving all of that?
Have you seen your phone full of mobile apps? Imagine someone who's managing multiple properties. And every vendor that they're managing have to offer a solution up. Now, property managers and property owners ending having 7, some cases even 10 apps and systems to actually just manage the services and maintenance of their facilities and the properties. Let's just put them in the context of residential. You probably have cleaning services. You have landscaping, air conditioning maintenance. Now, let's refer to a downtown building, 70 floor high. Imagine how many vendors that they have. They have elevator, escalators, cleaning, window, security, you name it. Imagine the manager handling one facility. How many apps or systems did they require to manage those multiple vendors? Let's take it one step higher. Their supervisor, their manager, who's managing multiple properties of the same size. It's impossible to consolidate all this information. Well, uSource came and solved that problem. Because with one app, you are able to manage multiple vendors, and those vendors are able to manage their own internal operations. That is the challenge that they're all having. There's no consolidation of information. They cannot see data real life. With uSource, that completely changed.
You mentioned that uSource is creating a new standard in the industry. Can you elaborate on that?
Again, my 24 years in the service industry was actually the reason why uSource was created. This idea started over 10 years ago when I started looking for something that actually can help me to run my business and try to solve the same problem for my customers. And guess what? Couldn't find anything. I'm still part owner of a commercial maintenance company. And I can't identify any other system that actually can help me to run the business, just as uSource does.
How does uSource benefit service providers in the industry? Can you share some examples of that?
Providing a solution, by providing a solution that actually fit both a buyer and seller of goods and services. Let's put it from the perspective that property manager we were talking earlier. He needs to have access to see vendors, to connect with sellers of services and goods that they consume. On the other side, we have the vendors and sellers of services and goods that they want to promote their products and services. We have created a hub and where they both connect and can create transactions. So again, the software was initially intended to be for service providers. That was phase one. And we have a great success as that they were able to manage the labor force, their projects, their products as that they consume, time logs, et cetera, CRM piece. So it was originally built for service providers. Just to give you an example, the first year that we implemented uSource with my other company, we were able to save up to $300,000 in the first year. That's alone by implementing a small feature called auto clocked out, which means, and there's a proprietary patent on that feature, which it actually controlled the geofencing in a complete different way, that I can tell you when someone leaves the facility and not just when they got there. This is amazing because it create accountability and prevent ghost employees and increase safety. Imagine a building which is, or a manufacturing plant where they have a fire or something. I can tell you where the employee is in or outside that facility, that building.
And this is all tracked by the cell phone that the person carries?
Absolutely. It is tracked through the mechanism of clocking in and clocking out when they are on the clock.
What if they turn off the cell phone?
That the system will send a message, notification, so we can tell that happened, and managers will get involved.
When you look at platforms like Angie's, which used to be Angie's List, now it's called just Angie's, and the other platforms like Uber, how does uSource, the early stages of those platforms compare to where uSource is right now?
So uSource have an onboarding process that actually will verify all those aspects, ownership of the business, right? It will have certifications, I'll say all the licenses necessarily. But also, on the other side, customers get to rate those vendors. They get to rate it just as you're going to do on Amazon. You buy something and you rate that vendor that's providing that service. So creating accountability and actually keeping a good database of good vendors in the system. Oh, by the way, also, the customer, the consumer, or the buyer of those goods and services can set their own requirements before even engaging with a vendor that they prefer. What are some of those examples? You can require a background check on every single one. You can require insurance if you wanted to. There's so other many aspects. Anything that you can think of, you can actually create it to customize it for yourself. The idea behind is that you create on persona of the vendor and the seller that you want to do business with.
Why are we surpassing Austin in tech innovation?
Once, because we're a great city, but it's also because I always think that Houston is the leader in the state of Texas. It always has been the best economy. We have resources, right? Very stable. A big city is the largest. And I think what happened in Austin just was the beginning of that movement. And now Houston is taking on it. I think the government is doing also a great job to attract those investments. Tesla announced that they're going to have a distribution center, and Apple recently announced that there's going to be a production warehouse here in Houston. That's amazing.
NASA has created a world of innovation in the city of Houston. How has that influenced your approach with uSource and what you're doing in the marketplace?
Just like NASA, we're trying to invent the next big creation out there. And I think there's a big challenge, specifically in the industry we're trying to tackle, a very fragmented industry. And there has not been much of an investment in technology in the commercial industry, maintenance industry. And we're trying to do that. So we're trying to create and invent something completely new, just like NASA does every single day. So I think we align it with that statement.
So how long does it take for someone to sign up and get approved? Is there like an approval process, or how does that work?
It's pretty quickly. You onboard your company the first time you open an account, and right immediately you will create your front store. And that's what everything. But becoming a user, it was very simple. And by the way, it is free now.
Oh, it's free.
It is free.
For the service company?
Both.
For both.
Both sides of the equation. Actually, you can interact in the system for free. For free.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
Check it out. You should be signing up now.
I should.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come out of here with the company.
At least buy products and services there.
Oh, that's true. I can buy products and services.
There you
of
go.
course.
Yeah. We're signing up right now.
Yes. Let's do that. That sounds great.